Even the mainstream news occasionally has stories about how incompetent or how wrong the federal government and other governments are. More on this channel about that, because most Canadians really don't know about it, or if they know about it, they're being lulled into silence by the Cheques from Justin, or they just acquiesce. And that's wrong. We need to be more activist. Catherine Cronus, on this station just a few weeks ago, talked about the fact that school boards across the country do not allow teachers to tell parents if their students are changing sex or they're saying their name is something different, a different sex. I think that, first of all, that may be the case and right in certain cases, but parents are the parents. They should know. Seamus O'Regan said, well, you know what? Sometimes parents cannot be trusted, and that's where the state falls into it. That's where the school boards should be in control of this. And I say that's absolutely wrong. We don't need more states taking care of our children. That's like the USSR. That's like states being the nannies. It's wrong, but yet Canadians don't even say much more about that. What about residential schools? Our Prime Minister inflamed the nation, and still does now and then, talking about the residential schools. No question, residential schools were a serious problem with generations. Even though at the start, some people thought they were doing well, and some natives and Indigenous people will say they did serve a purpose. There's no question as well that some Indigenous children were killed or were mistreated. No question about that. But tens of thousands, and our Prime Minister said it's genocide. He besmirched Canada around the world. And no facts to support that. He won't allow any facts to support that come out. We've also talked about drug addicts. And there's no question but that there are more and more young people in our country dying of overdoses. And yet the government, the Prime Minister, the other day just said, we are going to insist on our policy, which is to provide good drugs so that people don't die from bad drugs. What's happening is that we're creating a class of drug addicts. And in certain cases, some addicts should be given drugs, but not every case deserves that attention. We really need more on rehabilitation. There's so many different solutions to it. We have a Prime Minister who is dogmatic, who really just sticks to one thing, ignores it, calls it science. It's not science, it's his baloney. And that, of course, brings us to climate change and the taxes that are killing the middle class in this country. The Prime Minister says we're doing it to fight climate change. And yet, climate change is just getting worse in this country. His fight is over. He's done nothing about it except for impoverish many, many Canadians who had good paying jobs before. And the rest of the world is noticing that Canada is just not up to snuff. So those are just some of the issues where our governments are failing us. Canadians need to pay attention, and I think we need to discuss it more because we can do better, but we're letting those politicians off the hook. This country needs bold and fearless discussion of the issues that are confronting it. And the Trudeau government is censoring the news and paying other news providers. So we need to keep going. Please subscribe, and please donate generously. The crew needs to be paid.